how the 2024 election would look like if Roe versus Wade would be overturned. And we are still waiting on the ruling, and it should be coming in soon. And by the way, I will be making a reaction video to the ruling. And basically, this prediction will be based on only if Roe versus Wade gets overturned. And basically, if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, how I think the 2024 election would look like with Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So first, let's start off with Nevada. I think Nevada will shift even more left because it already has voted Democrat in previous elections. It went to Biden by, I believe, like 1.8% last year. Basically 2%. Let's just say 2%. And if it's already going to go to Biden from last year, then it's probably going to go to him in 2024 as well. Nevada area. The Las Vegas area, I think, will turn out high for Democrats in a case that Roe versus Wade does get overturned. I think the Las Vegas area and the areas near Las Vegas will extremely shift left. Even though it is already voting left, it's going to vote even more left because the Las Vegas areas are pretty much pro-choice, actually. So they should receive higher turnout for Joe Biden, actually. So I think it's going to go to Joe Biden by 5.5%. I think they can make it to 5.5%, or Joe Biden can make it to 5.5%. So a 3.5 improve for Joe Biden in Nevada if Roe versus Wade does get overturned. And now, let me know before we go into Arizona. Let me know in the comment section down below if Roe versus Wade does end up overturning. Do you think that Trump will win or will Biden win? And would it change your mind on the 2024 election? Would it change your mind on your previous prediction before the ruling, or before the ruling happens? If it does get overturned, let me know in the comment section. So Arizona nearly went to Biden. It almost even went to Trump. It barely went to him. In Arizona, it was extremely close. Biden had leads, I believe, by like 7%, 10% for the majority of the night, and then election day or election days, because it was going on for a few days. And then the final results, he ended up barely winning, squeezing it in by 3%. 0.3%, I believe. And Trump almost got him. Trump almost made a comeback. Joe Biden's numbers kept falling from 10% to 8% to 6% and all that. And then the final results, 99% came in, and he ended up with 0.3%. So I think Arizona... I think it should remain with Joe Biden if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, and if Roe versus Wade does end up getting overturned, I think Arizona in 2024 will be very important to look at, and I think a lot of people will get mad. And if you actually take a look with the stats, I can't obviously I don't want to waste time and put it up for you, but if you search it up, because I searched it up before this video, that 47 Americans in total. 49% of Americans believe that Roe versus Wade should stay, and abortion is legal. 49% of Americans say that they think abortion should be legal, and 47% of Americans think abortion should be illegal. So, obviously, legal wins by 2%. So basically, it's split in half. So half of the country is split on illegal, and half of the country is split on legal. So this is a very divisive issue, and abortion in Roe versus Wade brings strong opinions. I don't think anyone is pretty much leaning over. I don't think anyone is pretty split with this issue. I think most people are pretty heavily they pretty much have strong, when it comes to abortion, Roe versus Wade, everyone has strong opinions, unlike these other issues, because other issues, people could be split and maybe not sure, and maybe it's close to them, but when it comes to abortion, Roe versus Wade, people have very strong opinions, and it's easy for them to decide whether it should be illegal or illegal. And I think Arizona will go to Joe Biden in 2024 if Roe versus Wade does get overturned. I think he should win it by 0.5%. Yes, very, very little. If Roe versus Wade does not get overturned, I think it will go to Donald Trump by 2%. But if it does, it's going to go to Joe Biden by nearly 0.5%. So I actually forgot to fill in North Dakota and South Dakota and Nebraska. Sorry about that. Um, and Texas now. I think that Texas will go to Donald Trump if in 2024 if Roe versus Wade does get overturned by 5.5%. If it does not get overturned, I would have him winning it by 7%, but I think 1.5 less is pretty much accurate in my opinion. Yes, people will get mad in Texas. They pretty much will get mad in every state. So this is basically a Democratic uh, shift, to be honest, in every state, because a lot of people will get mad because, like I mentioned earlier, half the country is split. 49%, according to a poll, think it should be legal, and the other 47% think it should be illegal. So exactly half the country is split. And this is, like I mentioned earlier, again, this is an issue where most people already have strong opinions and they already have decided. And this is not really an issue where people are split. Most people on this abortion issue have very strong opinions about this and already know if it should be illegal or legal. So now Minnesota. I think Minnesota will go to Joe Biden by 7%. Same margin he won it last time. Because if Roe versus Wade does not get overturned, then I think it would go to Joe Biden by around 4 to 5%. But I think he should win it by about the same margin. And now in Florida, Wisconsin. Yeah, Florida. Let's go to Florida first before Wisconsin. Florida is already actually shifting Republican, and I think people are pretty happy with Ron DeSantis as their governor. So if they're already happy, then I think, no one's really going to pay attention to this because he's very favored amongst Floridians, and the state overall has shifted right already. So I don't see too much of an issue with Florida. I think it's going to go to Ron DeSantis by 6.5%. And if Roe vs. Wade doesn't get overturned, I would say 7%. So lean to likely, pretty much closer to likely, but I would say lean. And now in Wisconsin went to Joe Biden last election, by I think 0.7, 0.4%, somewhere around there, less than 1%. And I have it going in by 0.5%. If Roe versus Wade does not get overturned, I think that Donald Trump would win the state by 0.7%. But if it does get overturned, yes, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to across the country. There's going to be more left shifting than right shifting, to be honest. So Wisconsin was most voters in Wisconsin had a hard time choosing over Biden or Trump, and that's the main reason why it barely went to Biden. And if it would go to Trump, it would barely go to Trump. That's why I say most people in Wisconsin had a hard time choosing. And those people who had a hard time choosing that ended up voting for Biden, I think will again if Roe versus Wade does get overturned. By the way, I'm not sure if Biden's actually going to run. This is if he does, but when we get closer to the election, I will put up some other candidates up there because I really do not think Biden will run. But I'm putting up Biden just because I do not know other candidates just yet. Because I know Kamala will not run. Democrats don't want her running. She's terrible, and she's probably just gonna run. I don't know. But yeah, when we get closer to the election and the primary, I will put up other candidates because I don't know any candidates other than Biden and Kamala, which I do not think Joe Biden will run, but I have to put them up because I don't know any other candidates that can run. I mean, Pete Buttigieg, but we'll see. Kamala will obviously not run. But now Georgia barely went to Joe Biden by 0.3%. I think Stacey Abrams helped the Democratic Party. She helped John Ossoff. She helped Joe Biden. Without her, Joe Biden wouldn't have won, in my opinion, because she did get a lot of the black African American voter turnout higher than usual because she is black, and mainly the African American people vote for someone who looks like them, because they obviously want black voices and all, and I think Joe Biden will win again. I think if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, I think Stacey Abrams will make a lot of commentary on this. She's going to get pissed, and she's going to cause the whole Georgia to get pissed. Well, not the whole Georgia, but it's just gonna shift left and all that stuff. So now Michigan, I think Michigan. And by the way, I want to go to Iowa real quick. I have Iowa actually likely for Trump if Roe versus Wade does not get overturned. But if it does get overturned, it's not going to be a biggest impact because Iowa's already heavily to the right. But if it does get overturned, I think there's some counties that could be, shifting left, and same with Ohio. I think there's a lot of liberal colleges, universities in Ohio, and in certain counties in Ohio, I think certain counties in Ohio that did not shift that did not shift left, sorry, in 2020 will shift left because of Roe versus Wade getting overturned. If it does get overturned, because there's a lot of liberal universities and heavy popular Democratic counties in Ohio that could possibly make it closer. So instead of likely, I'll give it a lean if it does get overturned. But either way, it's going to go to Republican either way. So now North Carolina. I think North Carolina. If Roe versus Wade does get overturned, I think it's going to shift left, and that's the truth. But it does not necessarily mean it's going to go to Joe Biden. I mean, it went to Donald Trump by, I believe, 2.5% back in 2020. I think some counties in North Carolina that were close, I think most counties that were close, only the ones that were close, that most counties in 2020 that were close, that went to Donald Trump, will flip to Joe Biden because if Roe v. Wade does get overturned. The close counties that barely went to Trump will shift to Biden if Roe versus Wade does get overturned. And some of the closer counties that went to Trump in North Carolina will shift to Joe Biden. And now, let's go to Virginia. I think it'll go to Virginia. Does not get overturned. I think it'll go to him by 5%, and I think the Virginia governor's race is favoring Republicans. And if it wasn't for that, I would have it even going more to Joe Biden by 10%. But since Virginia shifted so far to the right, not really so far, but Democrats got 10% down than they were because they obviously lost. Then I think it's going to favor Republicans. But also, if Roe v. Wade does get overturned, I think it's going to be a huge impact it's going to be a huge effect negatively to the Republicans because obviously the Supreme Court is in Virginia, and Virginians, especially Virginians, will feel a huge effect because, like I said, the Supreme Court is in that state as well. And maybe if Roe versus Wade does end up getting overturned, maybe it won't negatively impact the Republicans because that Terry McAuliffe did say that he was pretty much pro-choice, which he obviously is, and he thinks that abortion should be legal, and he still lost. Even since he is pro, even if he thinks abortion should be legal, he still ended up losing, which is why I think maybe it won't negatively impact Republicans. Now we're going to move on to the state of Pennsylvania. I think Michigan. I think Michigan will go to Joe Biden by 2 to 3%. 2.7% to be exact. And it went to Joe Biden back in 2020. I believe by 2%. I think it's going to go to him by even more. Because if it already went to Joe Biden, and if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, how does it not go even more to the left? Maybe Gretchen Whitmer. She is losing right now in polls, so maybe that. But if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, I believe across the country, there's going to be outrage, definitely. Because like I mentioned earlier, half of the country is split with this issue, and most people have strong opinions already. No one's really going to be split with abortion because abortion is one of those issues that everyone has strong opinions on, most people, and not really a lot of people have split issues. Split. And even me have strong opinions on it as well. So Pennsylvania should go to Joe Biden by 0.5%, only if Roe versus Wade gets overturned. If it does not get overturned, then it will go to Donald Trump. But it's going to cause outrage, and especially the states that barely went to Joe Biden in 2020 will remain with Joe Biden with a narrow margin. due to the fact of Roe versus Wade getting overturned. If it does get overturned, which it's as of right now, the Supreme Court members are having very private talks because I feel like they want to overturn it, most of them, but they don't know how to say it publicly because it's going to be a hard decision. People are going to go crazy over this, so they want to do this privately first, in my opinion. So yeah, and then New Jersey, I think, New Jersey's especially going to shift to the left. I have it shifting to the right a little bit. If it does not get overturned, because it already shifted to the right in the New Jersey governor race. But New Jersey, when it comes to abortion, is very pro-choice. So you're going to see a lot of these shift left. Counties in New Jersey shift left. Now, New Hampshire, last and final state. I went to Joe Biden. New Hampshire went to Joe Biden more than it did to Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton only won it by 1%, a little bit over 1%. And Joe Biden won it by 6% more. He won it by 7%, so he should keep that lead. I don't know why he would lose it. Maybe because of New Hampshire is one of those states that if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, you see a lot of counties shift left. So if Roe versus Wade does end up getting overturned, I think Donald Trump would lose in 2024. Not because it's his fault, but they don't want another Republican because obviously most Republicans, just like Donald Trump, want abortions to stay illegal or abortions illegal. So obviously, and now I think Joe Biden would win if Roe versus Wade does get overturned. So as of right now, if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, my prediction currently, if Roe versus Wade does get overturned, is Joe Biden wins 302 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 236. And if Roe versus Wade does not get overturned, I think Donald Trump would win. It doesn't mean Trump can't win. That's pretty much it. And it's not really Trump's fault. It's basically the Supreme Court's fault if it does get overturned because Trump is not the one voting. But it's also Trump's fault, too, because he elected, I believe, 3 Supreme Court members, like Amy Coney Barrett. So, it could also be his fault, which, shifts voters away. And I believe there's about 20 to 30% of Trump voters that are pro-choice. So there's about 20 to 30%, I believe like 25% on average, according to most polls, of pro-choice supporters that are backing President Trump. So there are about nearly 25% of pro-choicers that are backing up President Trump, and I can see him losing that 25%. I can see him losing a lot of those, maybe going down to 10% or 15% if it does end up getting overturned, because it's also Trump's fault because he elected those members, and most of those members that he did elect should be voting to overturn it. So let me know your opinion in the comment section down below. Do you think if Roe versus Wade doesn't end up getting overturned, does it change your mind from your previous prediction before this? And do you think Biden would win, or do you think Trump would still win? Let me know